Hey there! So in July of 2024, we went on a camping trip to a couple of Arkansas state parks, and that's what this video is going to be about. So we're going to act like we're on FaceTime. We're going to kind of chat through it. It's going to be a little bit different setup because I know I had two previous videos that were shot vertical mode, portrait mode, so that I could use a lot of stuff for social media, and then later decided to upload it to YouTube so that you would have the information to plan your trip. And I know that's not the best way to watch a YouTube video, but this is my last video that is set up that way. And so I'm going to talk along with you with the clips on the screen. And the reason we're going to do it this way is because when we went on this trip, it was my birthday week, and I had been doing a lot of contract work promoting communities and businesses, and I needed a mental break. I needed a work break. I needed to be able to go on vacation, celebrate my birthday. And so I did get some footage along the way to be able to piece some things together to help you kind of plan a trip. But I also needed to just like turn it off for a little bit. That's why it's set up this way. So I hope that you can excuse that. I hope you can be gracious to know that this is content I'm offering for you to plan it, and it may have some little bumps along the way and some it's not going to look cinematic is what I'm saying, because this was our family trip, and sometimes you just need to not be going full mode on creating stuff, and so I would make a few clips along the way, and that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to chat about these clips. We're going to be heading back to the Delta. This is the last of our Delta series. This is the last of the Delta state parks, -1, but it's down in the south at the bottom of the Delta of Arkansas, but it will be in a South Arkansas video. So this is the last of that north all the way down to the south of the Delta. This time we're going to be kind of in the middle north area. Let's do it. And so actually for the week we camped at Village Creek State Park, which is outside of Wynne. It's a giant park. There's walking trails, lots of camping. There is a swim area. I'll show you that later and we'll talk about that. But it's a very beautiful park. This was our home base for the week, and so we would take day trips, but we stayed here and camped here all week long. We did not move around like sometimes we tend to do for camping. Very beautiful, lots of deer, fireflies, bats at night. I definitely would recommend going to this. They also have cabins. We definitely would camp at this state park again. This area also has a lot of Native American history. This was on the Trail of Tears, and you can walk a trail that goes along the same way, and kind of think about the history with that. There is a museum at the visitor center that you can learn more about what happened. There's a beautiful walk through the woods. This part of the geography of this state is very unusual. When you think of the Delta, you may think of flat farmland, but there is a ridge, Crowley's Ridge, that runs through this area, and it's like a vein of a ridge running down through several towns, and it runs through here, and it makes for this really beautiful landscape, really great hiking. If you're into hiking, there are some easy trails, there are difficult trails, and there are very long trails, so you've got a variety of hiking options. I did mention the swimming. There is a swimming area at the campsite for campers, and there is a swim area open to the public for people that want to come for the day or are not staying at the park. And we only went to the one at the campsite, and it was pretty murky. The sand was pretty messy. It was muddy, and overall not an enjoyable swimming experience. So we did it a couple times, and it really just felt like more work and not quite as enjoyable as the work that would go into it. But that is an option. You can fish on this lake. People would take kayaks out. So it's definitely a lake that you can do things on, but don't go expecting crystal clear waters like you might find in the Ozarks and the Ouachita Mountains. The closest town to this park is the town of Wynne, and so if you need to go to the grocery store, go to Walmart, want to go in and eat at a restaurant on your trip, this is pretty close by, and we went in to town a few times. There's shops, stores. It is a small town, but it has quite a bit of stuff that you could check out, and I would suggest going in to check out Wynne. The town after that would be Colt, which is a very small town, but there is a gas station and a restaurant. And then after that is the town of Caldwell. There's not going to be anything in Caldwell. That is where my mom was born and raised, and my grandparents lived, and lots of my family. So it's special to me, but it's not a tourist destination. And then after that will be the town of Forest City, and there will be a Walmart and things there that you could check out. But Wynne will have basically just anything that you need. If you're camping and need to go out and get more groceries or anything for your camper, Wynne would probably be the best choice. It's the closest. For Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we stayed at Village Creek and just enjoyed the time there. And then on Sunday, we ate lunch in Wynne and then drove on to Lake Poinsett State Park. We got there thinking we would do one of the small hikes, and it was so hot. The mosquitoes were so bad. We just could not make ourselves do it. You cannot swim in this lake, but you can take out kayaks and boats, and they have rentals that you can do there, so you're not having to bring your own kayak. It's a smaller park. There is some camping. I don't think it's full hookup. So we did not do like the full extent of what you could do at this park, but it was just so hot, and we were limited in what we just felt like that we could do for the day. Monday it stormed, so we stayed in our camper. We did some art journaling and just relaxed for the day. And then we decided that the next day, on Tuesday, that we would go and do quite a bit of hiking since there was a break in the rain. So we hiked the Big Bend Trail, the Arboretum Trail. We liked both of those. They were great for doing with our kids. We did a small portion of the Old Military Road Trail, which is the Trail of Tears Trail. It's beautiful, but it's also very heartbreaking to think about that trail and to see the landscape of what they had to climb and going up and down. And it was not a flat, easy walk for them to take. But I definitely think it's an important trail to check out if you're at the park. That night, a state park interpreter told stories from the area and different tales, and we roasted marshmallows, and it's really neat to see what programs you can check out at different state parks. Some parks will have programs year-round. The smaller ones may only have them certain times or at the busier times, but you should be able to call or even check their website and find out. They do cooking classes, women's hiking classes. They'll do kayaks. We've gone out on boat tours. There's lots of options that you can do at parks. Very often they're free or a small fee. So on Wednesday, we decided to head to Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee is pretty close by. And so first we stopped at Bass Pro. It's not our first time, but it had been a while since we'd been there. And if you've never been, it is inside this pyramid. The pyramid used to be like a concert auditorium, and it now is a Bass Pro. It's got restaurants and a hotel and lots of things in it. So we stopped by because our youngest had never been. So we thought, well, as soon as you get into town, you see it as you're crossing over the Mississippi River from Arkansas into Tennessee, and it's definitely something to check out if you haven't seen it before. From there, we went to a building called the Concourse, which I cannot remember all the details and I didn't write it down, but at one time, I think it had been a department store or factory. I need to look up those details. I'll put it here. But it's been turned into this multi-space area. So we ate at a restaurant. We ate at a place that had gluten-free buns for hamburgers. And then we went to a different part of the concourse and had Mem Pops, which, unlike any other popsicles you've ever had, we still talk about those, and the girls ask when can we go back to Mem Pops. So definitely would check out there. And they've got different stores. It's an interesting building to check out. So I would definitely recommend going there. You do have to pay to park, but it's a minimal amount per hour, and you can kind of just walk around the building and check it out. Our oldest daughter was on the hunt for the maybe last or next to last Harry Potter book, and I had found a used bookstore called Burke's Bookstore, and it's in a historic area of Memphis that's just really neat, lots of cool shops. We stopped into a little store that had artwork, and I bought some sunglasses, and it's just a neat little area to walk up and down the street. Lots of interesting restaurants, and I definitely would go back to that area again. We should check that out. And then before we drove home, we went by where MLK was shot. That is a museum you can check out. We didn't do it on this trip because we really were ready to head back to the camp for the night. But before we did, we crossed back over the bridge over the Mississippi River into West Memphis, Arkansas. And Ducks Unlimited has a park there where you can walk, you can bicycle if you're a cyclist, and they have a massive sunflower field. And it was the perfect way to end the day because we actually had a pretty bad ending to the day. We went to a restaurant that said they were gluten-free and walked in, and I tried to order it, and the waitress tried to warn me it's really not safe here. I really wouldn't recommend it. And then a manager came out. It was unlike any experience that we had ever had before. And so we kind of ended on this note of we're hungry, but let's just drive back to the campsite, figure it out when we get there. And on the way, I looked something up, and happened to find these sunflowers, and we went, and it was just the best way to end the day. So on Thursday, we headed to nearby Jonesboro, and there's a grocery store that we like to go to when we visit called the Truck Patch. It has natural and organic things, meat, and fun things like chips and lots of gluten-free options. So it's definitely a store that we like to check out. And then next to that is Lost Pizza Company, which is a chain, but this one is, you know, they're locally owned franchises, and they have gluten-free pizza. And so we grabbed that for lunch. We went for the first time to Crowley's Ridge Nature Center, which is really interesting, and you can learn about the geography of the area, the native animals and plants. And there's different nature centers around the state. We've posted about one in Pine Bluff before. There's one in Fort Smith we have not been to yet, surprisingly. And they're just interesting because they're free. There's different activities for kids. There's live snakes, all kinds of things like that to check out. Then of course we did a drive through downtown. We love driving through downtown when we're there, but we did not stop and check anything out because we were going to head back to the camper for dinner so we could minimize the amount we were spending on eating out. But on the way out of town, we did stop into Bliss Cupcakes, and I know Bliss is also a chain, but this was a local franchise, and they have gluten-free cupcakes. Those were really good and a good way to end the day. So then Friday came, and it was time to pack up and to head home. So overall, we definitely recommend Village Creek State Park. It is a great park to stay at. It's near things for you to take different day trips. We have lots of posts about Helena, and Helena would be a reasonable day trip if you want to go check that out. But of course, Jonesboro, Memphis, and then Wynne has lots of things that you need if you're in need of stuff while you're camping. So let us know if you have other suggestions of things to check out in this area so that other people can explore. And the next time we're there, we'll know different things to check out. I hope this was helpful. I know it's a little bit different setup, but I thought, well, let's just chat like friends and talk about our trip together. So we will have a couple of more state park videos. We have this year in 2025 completed all 52 state parks. And so I will be trying to get those done and updated so that you will be able to watch and plan all of your state park experiences to know what's nearby, how you may want to visit several in one trip, and hope that it is helpful to you. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.